All right, so this is the pilot episode for Shadows of a. Um, it is a Roll20 adaptation of the World of Darkness game, and it is being ran somewhat different than the rules, with a little bit of twist and spin here and there. The two players that we currently have are going to be Alice Fontaine and Xander Owens. We'll have each describe themselves, starting with Alice.
All right. Alice is about 20 years old. She's got black hair, dark brown eyes. She's pretty pale with a sort of smattering of light freckles across her like nose. Um, about 5'6", 5'7" in height. Um, rather lean. Um, uh, I guess that's her physicality. Her general concept is I've called it a caged dreamer.
That's one way to call it.
That's one way to call it. She was born in Cedar Point, and she has been essentially forced by her uh, semi locally famous and definitely rich trash parents to go to the local college when she very much wanted to go literally anywhere else. She's got a bit of an ego on her, but I believe she's majoring in English, some sort of English major, with a love for language and uh, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, that's. I think that's the bare bones of Alice. Is there anything you think I missed?
I think that's good. Unless you'd like to quickly describe her relationship with her mother and her father.
Yeah, sure. Her relationship with her father is basically non-existent. He's the CEO of some sort of large pharmaceutical company, of which has been we haven't had a name for it yet. But he's basically never around. Shows
The
up.
pharmaceutical company,
Yeah.
Fontaine Pharmaceuticals.
Great.
We do have a name for it. There
We
you
do.
go.
Fontaine Pharmaceuticals. He's basically never around. He shows up. He throws money. He fucks off. Her mom has essentially been abandoned along with Alice. Classic trophy wife, wine mom who claims not to be an alcoholic. Uh, uh, in a not so secret affair with also local rich douche, Victor Langston. That's the douchey one, right?
Yeah. His son's a cool one. Victor's a
Gotcha.
douchebag.
Yeah, Victor's the douchebag. Um, they know each other in the sense that that they know each other exist, but they make assumptions. Alice makes assumptions about her mother. Her mother makes assumptions about her, and they make no effort whatsoever to debunk those assumptions. Um, so, not a great relationship. They don't really talk super much, and that's basically Alice.
Sounds like a very healthy character to
Oh,
be going through
she's so
the shadows of Cedar Point.
absolutely. She's so stable.
And then we have Xander Owens.
Uh, Xander Owens is no one special, really. He's a dropout to the local community college. He's spent a lot of his time fucking around, flip flopping between subjects and majors because he could never really settle on something he actually wanted to do or felt would be relevant. He has tentative hopes to, maybe make it big one day through music, but he's the kind of guy that's never really actually found his sound. But he swears that if you just wait and see, he's gonna be big one day. He's average height, maybe a bit on the skinnier side than anything else. He's got gauged ears. He's always wearing a do-rag that covers up part of his long dreadlocks. He's got that nose ring. He's got lovely neck tattoos, the devil's cabbage, and a and a barcode. You know,
Classic.
yeah, classy. He's got to show that he's a rebel against society. By branding himself with a barcode as everybody else has, metaphorically, being sheep and all that. Aside from that, he's a man of simple taste, enjoys hobbies. He likes his music. He, of course, loves his recreational drug use and stupid kung fu movies. He perhaps likes the dumb kung fu movies a little too much, actually. Spends a lot of time doing that in his free time. And that's pretty much in a nutshell.
And how is his relation with his family? His father, Richard Owens, who works at the Anderson Mill as a traditional 9 to 5. His mother, Laura Owens, who waits tables at the local, what is it, the Marmot, I believe is what I called it. I think
Marmot, yeah.
I think it's called the Marmot.
Marmot's Diner.
Yeah, Marmot's Diner. And his little sister, Kimberly. What's his relationship with, how is his relationship with them?
Currently, and for the last year or two, probably fairly strained. There's no big problem, no big fight that's really happened between them. It's more of a kind of subtle drifting away as he gets further and further from the kind of traditional, family structure unit. He wants to be less and less a part of just the mundane things he sees around him. He wants to leave the town eventually, but he can never really work up the desire, the motivation to do so. It's kind of the same with his family. He doesn't really talk to his dad too much. He doesn't really care about getting the standard 9 to 5 job. Though his dad keeps probably prodding him and trying to push him in the right direction when he can. It's kind of the same for his mom, though. He has a little bit more resentment for her, just because, in his opinion, she's always favored the little sister. But despite that, he does care about his little sister. He loves her enough that he doesn't want her to get too close, because he can recognize he's a bit of a fuck up, and he doesn't really want her to get close enough to do that thing where she looks up to her big brother. There are better people out there to serve as role models, and he just doesn't really want to get too close to that.
Burke County, Washington, is home to Cedar Point, which is where this campaign will be taking place. It's got a population of roughly 1,200, maybe, with all of the civilians and everybody who lives here, give or take the volume of students who are staying at the local Burke Community College in its one dormitory. So, the stage is set for the campaign to begin. And the campaign begins with the sound of a bell ringing above the Marmot Diner. Xander.
Xander would kind of walk toward the diner. He wouldn't go in quite yet. He always likes to sit out in front, kind of lean against the entrance, watch a few of the cars go by, watch the people walk here and there. A lot of people coming out of class, a lot of people going here and there. He'd reach into his pocket, he'd take out a pack of cigarettes and just kind of pull one out. He'd always take a bit of time to just enjoy, take a nice slow pace, knowing that when he was finished, he'd head into the diner and get himself his typical meal, probably the same thing he's had most every day for the last years. um, it's a it's something comforting in that tiny little bit of schedule of it all, I suppose. As much as he rails against that kind of thing, he kind of appreciates it, but he obviously wouldn't tell anybody that.
And is Alice at the marmot as well?
Probably.
Where else is she gonna be, right?
Yeah, there's like it's the only like good food anywhere nearby, and I think at this point she's not really feeling uh going across the water just to get um probably like a burger or something. Yeah. Yeah, she's probably sitting on in one of the booths having just like a regular burger cuz she doesn't know what else to eat, and she's definitely not cooking for herself. Um Looks up when the bell goes off, clocks whoever it is, and goes back to probably um whatever linguistics book or like English homework she has going on, or at least pretending to. She may very well just be on like her phone or something.
So Alice is met quickly by a older lady. She's got brown hair. It's curly. She might cursory. Alice might be able to cursory recognize it as Laura, Xander's mother. She steps over. She gives you a polite greeting, and she jots down whatever you're having.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then as she goes to turn to walk away, uh, you hear the police scanner come up. Um, it's a quick message. It says that there's an investigation going on at the Grafton Iron Mill. A boy by the name of Davis has gone missing, and they believe that he might have gotten lost somewhere in the mill.
Mm-hmm.
You hear Laura step over, and she turns the volume down on the scanner. Well, times like these, we don't need more bad news, do we?
um yeah, I guess not. Would uh has stuff been going on recently?
Is that an out of game question or in
I
game?
I think that was out of game.
So you've been pretty wrapped up in your studies.
Yeah.
You've been pretty wrapped up in your studies. Xander's been pretty wrapped up with what he's doing. It's pretty fair to say that you probably have just let the city's, if you could call it tumult, with being how small it is. You know how small town drama is.
Oh, definitely.
It's kind of slid by you. So you're kind of without much information on what's going on right now.
I think I think in that sort of like small town way of not wanting to be out of the loop, Alice is sort of embarrassed, but I think she pushes through that and goes ahead and asks Laura, what do you mean?
Well, uh, now it's Davis. Last week it was the Blackwell boy. It's been 2 weeks and 2 kids are gone. Now, I've got my opinions. You know, we're in the middle of Burt County, Washington. There's not a lot to go on here. I think a lot of them are just playing hooky over in the old Rose Gold Marina. That's where they always go. I don't know what's got them thinking that they're up in the mill. But hey, I'm just some waitress. I don't. I'm not the one who watches the kids when they get lost in the dark.
Right. Um, I I think I think Alice definitely jots that down just in the margin of her notes. Um, she's definitely looking for an excuse to not do her homework tonight, and that seems pretty promising. Yeah.
Has Xander finished his
Yeah,
cigarette?
Xander would take like the last slow drag on the cigarette and just kind of toss it down on the ground, not really caring too much. He'd reach down his foot and just slowly, snuff the ash out. Uh, he'd look around, up and down the street, taking a last kind of leisurely moment before entering the cafe. Um, he'd go in, he'd look around. Is anyone else there besides his mom and Alice?
So there's his mom. Kimberly is actually sitting at the bar. Like how it's got one of those bars with the with like the cafeterias have with the circular um, pedestal chairs with the high backs. She's eating a stack of waffles. Um, it's very likely that either she didn't want to go home because obviously her dad's not home from work, or Alara brought her here for some reason. Um, uh, it's your mom working. There is a couple in the corner at the far end that you don't recognize. A couple of other like young teens, your adult sorts of ages in small little cells across the diner, but for the most part, it's pretty quiet. And then, of course, in one potentially the darkest corner of Marmot's Diner, uh, you see Alice.
Hiding, shrunk back in the corner, hoping nobody sees her and interrupts her reading.
Yeah. I think at this moment she's definitely distracting herself with her phone, so her face is lit up. But that's it.
The worst part of Burke County
Hmm.
is the only cell phone tower is on the top of Mount Burke.
It's
And when the
agony.
wind blows, the reception goes out. But sometimes it's back. But sometimes it goes out. So I imagine there's at least a little bit of frustration that
Oh,
Alice experienced while she's trying to struggle with the reception of his phone.
absolutely. Absolutely. Her nose is like scrunched up and she's like taken her very obviously like decorative, she doesn't actually need them, glasses off, and put them on the top of her head, and she's furiously just like tapping the screen and waiting for something to happen, and eventually she just tosses it on the table.
Uh, Xander would just kind of watch for a second, give a small chuckle as he sees just the absolute fucking annoyance playing across her face. uh, he'd shake his head a bit and kind of walk up and kind of give his mom a nod. Hey, ma, how you doing?
Oh, I'm holding down the fort. Everybody else took off early tonight, and I'm here stuck until midnight.
And,
I guess I can't complain too much. I'm the only one making tips.
is is dad watching sis?
Dad's at work still. Um, uh, she kind of nods her head over to Kimberly, who was at the bar. So I decided that maybe she'd want to spend some time with her mom. She didn't. She doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody really wants to spend a lot of time in this place. No, no offense, except for me. I like it here.
She gives you a look. You have the distinct feeling that if you were the only one in this in this diner, you would have been beaten 4 ways to Sunday with the wet towel that she's laying across the top of the bar.
He gives her a little bit of a little bit of a smile, you know, a little satisfied that he got under her skin. He's like, he kind of like, Mom, I'm kidding. He'd kind of look around. Do they have like, you know, those dumb little coloring books and shit that they give little kids?
Yeah, they've probably got one of those.
God.
It's obviously got the state animal of Washington on the front, which is the marmot,
The marmot.
the Olympian marmot.
Does a marmot
Sounds
even
about
look
right.
like?
Yeah, he just kind of pick it up, and, you know, kind of carefully walk by Mom in case she changed her mind about smacking him with the towel. And he, you know, he'd walk up to Kimberly and kind of, so probably not having very good reception either, huh?
Do you mean Kimberly or Alice?
Nah, Kimberly.
Oh. Oh.
He
No,
kind of
like,
nods over his shoulder toward Alice. That'd probably be around the time like she threw it on the table.
It clatters.
Yeah.
oh no, I don't ever get reception here. Sometimes when I go out on the dock, though, I'll get it there, but I don't get it here. Never get it here. It's ridiculous. She just kind of mumbles to herself before looking at him. What are you doing here? Didn't you have like something you're doing tonight?
I always have something I'm doing tonight. You gotta see. You gotta find something to do to keep yourself busy around here. Me, he looks over the coloring book and he's like, you know, kind of looking forward to doing a few of these actually.
Yeah. Me too. She gives you this flat look. Now, there's something to be said about like when a little sister's like not impressed by your joke. There's something to be said about the way that it just kind of pierces you. And she's piercing all the way through you right now. She's so not amused by you.
He looks down at the coloring book as if this has only been like the first part of the joke, and he's like trying to decide if he should go through with it. He just kind of sighs and shakes his head. All right. I'll tell you what. A little later, if you want, after I've gotten something to eat, maybe if you ask Mom, maybe she'll let me take you down to the docks or something.
Well, that'd be cool. But you know how she gets when Dad's not home. Unless she or Dad has direct eyesight on me, I don't get to do nothing.
No, just
Fucking bullshit. She kind of like covers her mouth, looks at her mom. Mom didn't see. It's stupid because when you were this age, you could do whatever you wanted.
yeah. Well, they gotta protect their precious little angel. And ruffle her hair.
She doesn't really fight you too much. And she kind of mumbles something about being babied. There's a sound above you. It's a familiar sound. You hear it probably once every other night, and it's the even beats of like the wings or the propellers of the helicopter. It comes swooping in from the south, heading towards the east, and it's very obviously it's going towards the Rhodes Gold Country Club across from the marina. It happens every night around this time. Let's say it's 8:30 p.m. What's Alice doing while Xander is interacting with his sister?
Well, she was trying to look up like any news articles from like do they even have local news?
They have a local radio station, which
Gotcha.
I would assume it doubly serves as their local news outlet. I imagine they have a paper, but probably nothing digital. Not
Gotcha.
yet. And what is digital is ran by the is ran by the college, so it's not exactly information on the city. It's more information about the college itself.
Gotcha. Is there like a little like newspaper dispenser in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could probably go to the front of the marmot and find one.
Yeah, she's
You know, one of those you slip a quarter in and you get the paper sort of deal.
Alice is over whatever sort of essay or whatever bullshit the small time professors have her doing. So she gets up from the booth and she goes towards the front to whatever dispenser they have for the newspaper. I assume it's probably the old ones. Is it like on the outside?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
One of the boxes.
yeah, it looks like a cigarette, like one of those
Yeah.
old timey cigarette sells these silly box things. Kind of looks like a mailbox,
Gotcha.
like one of those big industrial ones.
Yeah. Probably fishes out whatever change it takes to get one of those. Sweet papers, and she'll get one for herself. And she's going to look for any articles about this Davis boy and the Blackwell kid.
So Davis, there's no information on this Davis kid.
Yeah.
You're not able to find anything about that. But go ahead and give me a investigation. Let's just go intelligence and investigation.
Okay. How exactly am I rolling this?
What you will do is you will roll a number of d10 equal to the combination of those two stats. So you have 4 intelligence and you have 2 investigations, so you will roll 6 d10.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's 6d10, roll 6 of them. Yeah, there we go. Aw.
Oof.
No
So
success.
each one of those ones will negate a success. However, you got 3 successes, so you ended up with 1 success.
All right.
It's actually pretty easy for you to comb through this and find information on the missing boy. Supposedly he went missing around dusk 5 days ago, and he's been missing ever since. He was last seen on the Crawdad Road, which is a road heading southeast out of Cedar Point. This kind of is supported by the opinion that Laura told you before, and is in direct opposition of them looking for the child in the Grafton Iron Mill, which is in the opposite direction of the city.
Okay. As she's sort of like paging through this, she's gonna go back inside. I think she's probably still waiting on her burger.
While she has been gone,
Well,
Xander has taken her spot in the booth.
How dare you?
Xander has taken his spot, and he has a burger in front of him. Would you like to describe what kind of burger you ordered? For Xander.
I want to say vegetarian. And by vegetarian, because I don't think they have actual vegetarian burgers.
I think that Marmot's pretty good on supporting local cultures like that. So their vegetarian option probably is a portobello burger.
Okay.
That's just doesn't have doesn't have the meat with it. So it's just a big fucking mushroom cap.
Oh god.
Which, granted, is fucking delicious.
Oh yeah.
Xander's poking it with a fork with a very confused look on his face. Like, it looks like he's trying to figure out if he wants to take a bite or not.
It's funny because I know that you hate mushrooms.
I loathe mushrooms.
I think Alice sees an opportunity here. She sort of reins in the initial spark of anger. She rolls the paper up and she walks over calmly. She looks down at Xander's confused face and she goes, I would think that you, of all people, would know what a mushroom is.
He stops and he gives her a look, and there's just this brief, brief flash of like amusement, and then it's just drowned in a look of absolute annoyance. He kind of like sets his jaw, and just you hear like the screech of the plate as he pokes his fork into it and tears off a piece of the mushroom, puts it in his mouth.
Bastard.
I'm gonna
Alice.
go. He likes it. Okay. Figure I'd leave it up to chance. Yeah, he just kind of like stops and nods his head a little bit, and he's like,
delicious.
"Huh, this is actually pretty good." Thanks.
She sits down. Did he say thanks?
Yeah.
Oh man. She's going to reach out with one hand, pick up the plate, and place it in front of herself. And she goes,
just kind of reaches out with the fork and just puts it on the plate, so as you're drawing it away, it kind of screeches a little bit.
She definitely
He lets it go.
flinches. She flinches at the noise, and she goes, well, I'm glad that you have the capacity to expand your tastes, but you can buy one for yourself. I assume you have money, at least a little bit, right?
Kind of reaches up and scratches the back of his neck. Well, I got money. Money's not the problem, but why would you buy one when there's this nice, delicious, abandoned burger just sitting here, right here? Going to waste.
My stuff is still here. You're sitting in front of my theology book.
I don't see your name on it.
She like has to stand up to reach across the table, but she flips away from where she was to the front of the book. And you know how when you used to get something from the library, it has like the card. She with one finger slips the card out of the little sleeve in the front of the book, and at the very bottom of it, it says Alice Fontaine.
He flinches as she reaches over, like as if he was like worried she was gonna smack him, and he kind of eases back and gives her a small but ever-growing smirk. Alice is a common name.
Alice Fontaine.
He stops as if he didn't think that far ahead. Yeah, maybe. He just shrugs a little bit.
So she like laughs very shortly, closes the book, brings it to her side of the table. I guess it's the opposite side from where she used to be sitting. And sits back down and starts like taking a piece of the burger off. Instead of taking an actual bite, she pinches a part of it, rips it off, and looks at him. I assume he was about to say something.
As he sees her just brutalize that poor hamburger, he just gives her a look of absolute pity. Like there's it's almost like just sorrow, as he looks to her. And what are you doing?
Well, I'm not using the fork that you used, and it's the only fork on this table. And she pops it into her mouth.
He just kind of rubs his face a little bit. Fine. So, how are you? Before you stormed out and ruined my meal.
What do you want?
Well, I came for a burger, obviously.
Oh, okay. Right, I see. I'm trying to eat my burger. And attempting to study, and she taps the book with her knuckle. But she has like this look of like not quite disgust, but definitely frustration. Um, but that seems to be a bust, so I'm looking for something else to do.
I can tell you were studying real hard by how you were wrestling your phone earlier. Did you
She
run
rolls
out
her
of
eyes.
batteries playing Flappy Bird?
No, I didn't. Not that I could get any sort of reception in here. What I was doing is none of your business. She holds up, she like places her elbow on the table and holds up a single finger when she says that.
He places his elbow on the table, almost leaning close as if to feign interest. But you already admitted that you were studying. I'm so intrigued with what you're studying.
You
That
know,
would be so boring to you that you would get on your phone and play around and almost break it by throwing it across the table. It had to be something a lot more interested than this book. He kind of taps his finger on it. Or not the finger, he's still holding the fork. He taps it with the fork.
the book.
The book, the cover of the book.
I believe I said it was theology, wasn't it? The front of the book probably has like the word theology, and like in the terrible like way that textbooks are designed, has like this dramatic blurry picture of like Jesus on the cross in the background. And she goes, well, it's theology, and if you hadn't have dropped out, you would know that that's a religion.
Theology is a religion?
No, theology is the study of
He
religion.
gives her a small smirk. That
She's
sounds
glaring, immediately glaring.
absolutely fascinating. I can't tell you how much I would rather read this book than dick around on my phone all day. Please tell me more.
I would rather eat my portobello burger.
He gives another small shake of his head. Kind of looks back and he's like, "Hey Ma, could I get a whatever that thing was that she got?"
I mean, you could if you had a job and you'd pay for it.
He just kind of rolls his eyes a little bit. And he reaches in, he pulls out his wallet, and it's probably one of those like ratty, like it's like this ratty, very like well worn version of those dumb cloth ones that have like the patch stitched in that you buy at like somewhere like Hot Topic or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
They were really popular for a few years, and everybody forgot they exist because they're fucking terrible. Um, but yeah, he takes out like a $5 or whatever. He's like, oh, I got this.
She kind of she eyes it for a moment before before just giving this exasperated sigh. Fine. Okay. Whatever. I'll get you one. Just she steps over and yanks it out of your hand before looking at it for a second, folding it and stuffing it in her pocket. Just okay.
Give her an accusatory look. It's not counterfeit. I'm not gonna counterfeit a 5.
Alice, you look down at the menu that she had forgotten to take from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you notice that the obviously a portobello burger is going to be a little bit more expensive, and it's sitting at a hefty $8.50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought.
You kind of keep that information to yourself for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She goes to the back to begin preparing or getting the cooks to prepare the meal for Xander. As you hear the clocks ring 9. When you glance outside, the shadow of Mount Burke has already overtaken the city. It's darker now, quite a bit so. Granted, the early July as it is, it normally does get like twilight around this area, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, he watches his mother go into the kitchen with a slight frown on his face. He looks like he's about to say something, but he doesn't. He kind of looks back, glances outside, starts drumming on the table a little bit with his fingers.
Let's see. Okay. Oh shoot, what is Alice gonna do?
Do what?
Oh, I'm not sure what Alice is about to do. Okay. She watches his mother go off, and she's thinking about the pay to price discrepancy. And I think she sits back in the booth a little bit and looks at Xander, and she goes, "What are you doing, like, today? Tonight?"
He kind of blinks and looks back for a second. I don't know. I told little sis I might take her to the docks at some point. Besides that, he shrugs a little bit. I got a friend I need to meet a little later. He looks up at her, blinks a little. Share notes, a little help with the old college homework,
Oh yeah,
He
totally.
shrugs.
If I was going to ask somebody to help with my homework, it would be the dropout.
He frowns. Yeah,
God damn.
yeah, you're
It's a good
if you
thing.
were half as good in your studies as you were at ragging on me, maybe you'd be somewhere besides here right now. We went to the same college, remember?
I am still going to that college. Thank you very much. Back to my question.
Well, aside from that, nothing really. He gives a small shrug. I hadn't planned on anything.
She sits up a little abruptly, and she grabs the paper that sort of like has unrolled on the tabletop, and she takes it, she flips it to the article about the Blackwell boy, and she holds it out for Xander to take.
He looks at it. He looks at her. He raises a bit of an eyebrow. He takes it. What's this?
That is an article about some kid that went missing 5 days ago, hasn't been found, and they're looking, according to your mom, in the wrong place.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. As much as I would love to go absolutely alone in the dead of night to look for this kid because I have nothing better to do, I would rather not. And since you're not busy,
You realize this kid probably just got eaten by a bear or something, right?
I mean, maybe. But then why are they looking for him at the mill?
He opens his mouth as if to say something like, you know, like a witty jibe or something, and he just kind of stops. He's like, "That is a bit weird, isn't it?"
She like nods, very purposefully, takes the glasses that she realizes has been on her head this entire time and puts them on properly. And she goes, "So are you in?" After the burger, of course.
Well, obviously. He kind of glances back toward the kitchen. He kind of drums his fingers on the table a little bit.
The cook is trading off with Laura now, and she's stepping over. She's setting it down. She's setting it down on the table before um, uh, sliding the 5 back under the table and then over to you. I'm not cooking when you get home. And then she turns and walks off. Still, she does give you a receipt, so she paid for it.
Kind of takes it. Kind of, thanks, Ma. He says it kind of under his breath, but just loud enough that she could hopefully hear it. But he puts the thing back in his pocket. um, Fuck it, I guess. I've got nothing else to do. I was just gonna go home, relax, but you know, traipsing all night through the woods sounds just as good. Why is this? Why do you care, though? Like, did you know the kid or something?
Oh no, I don't. I mean, I know him as well as anybody else, considering we live in the tiniest of towns. Um, Mostly.
Anything but theology homework?
Anything but theology homework. I can only take so much Jesus.
He grins a little bit. Yeah,
I don't. What?
sure. That's. I just. You make it too easy sometimes.
She looks very obviously confused. She's just like, I don't.
Just never mind. You've ruined it.
Okay.
He kind of leans back a little bit on the bench. Just all right. Sure. When do you want to do this thing?
She sort of taps her fingers on the table. Um, well, we should probably get like some flashlights or something.
I think I got one at home.
Yeah, but maybe like some snacks. We could. Is there like a convenience store? There's a convenience store, right?
Yeah, there's a local like a local general store.
Like a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, kind of. Whatever the equivalent of that is in the heart of bumfuck nowhere, Washington.
Yeah, that's fair. I forget that chains change like that. Okay, okay, great. Um, yeah, we can get. Uh, I bet they have like some stuff like that that we can just like grab. But um, I I would like to do this, after the burgers.
Like immediately.
I mean, however long it takes you to eat. How long do you take to eat?
Uh, he kind of like just shrugs a little bit and reaches down, picks up the burger. You know, as a normal person eats a burger and starts chomping on it.
Uh, nice. All right. Yeah. Uh, I think she continues to eat the burger in a weird way. Just like I don't know if this is how she normally eats the burgers, but at this point she did the action the first time and now she feels committed to it. So that's how she eats the burger.
He watches her for a second and just kind of shakes his head. You're hopeless.
I don't think that's true.
Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Well, did his sister leave with his mother?
So they're still there. They're still working. It's only 9. She's got to work till midnight. So Laura's still there.
Okay. Hey, I need to talk to little sis for a second.
Hmm.
He kind of pushes up from the half-eaten burger, and walks over to her. She's still on like the counter top area, like on one of the stools or whatever.
Yeah, she'd finished her pancakes that she was chomping on, and now she's working on a some novel or another. It was some Stephen King novel.
He kind of glances over at it and nods a little bit. It's probably something he's seen her reading or seen around the house or something, that
Pet
she might have
Cemetery.
left out. Do what? Pet
Pet
Cemetery?
Cemetery.
Oh god.
He grins a little bit. He said probably hasn't read the book, but I'm sure he's seen the movie,
He strikes me as a type.
Kind of grins a little bit. That's a good one. It's a good choice.
Yeah, it's not as exciting the second time through.
You already went through the whole thing?
Yeah. I'm just hoping that this Christmas when Grandpa comes back in town, he'll get me the new one. She kind of closes it, putting her pinky on the page, and then glances over. What's up?
So something came up. I've got a.
Yeah, I know how it goes. You got someone you've got to meet. That's okay. We can do it some other time. She just kind of puts her nose back into the book. It's almost like this cold dismissal, but it was a cold dismissal that came from experience. It's a cold dismissal that came from regularity.
He
He was used to it.
he opens his mouth to say something and then just kind of stops and thinks for a second. What day is today? Actually, like in game.
Let's just go ahead and say that it is Monday.
Okay.
It is Monday night. At around 9:30, 9:15.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what. I've the friend I'm gonna go see. Like I'm helping him with some homework, and he owes me a little bit of you know money from a bet. I want a bet, and I need to go collect. And how much is the next book?
She kind of pauses for a moment and looks at you. I don't know, 30 maybe. It's been a while since Grandpa's bought me a new one, and for the most part, he always just gets them secondhand. So I don't know how much it is. Why? You're not. You don't do that. You won the bet. Like that's your money.
What am I gonna do with it? Buy more mushroom burgers?
Maybe actually pay for your food for once.
I think you didn't. He kind of gives a small grin. He's like, I think I'll just stick to like eggs and stuff for now. I think you look. I'm not good at. I know I fucked up a few times recently. I can't have you reading the same book 2, 3, 4 times.
I'll be okay, Xander.
Yeah, I know, but he just trails off for a second, and then just ruffles her hair again.
She doesn't move just like she did last time. She just kind of sits there and takes it before she flips back open the book and starts again where she had left off. You get the feeling while she might have this understanding that he kind of just goes off and does his own things, and it might have been hurtful to her at one point. She's kind of just understood it now. It's a quiet solidarity that she seems to have with you at this point. Or maybe that's what makes it worse. Maybe that's what makes it cut so deep.
Gives a small sigh. He kind of thinks to himself for a moment. What's Mom doing? Is she off cleaning tables or something?
She's cleaning tables, yeah.
Okay. Is there a tip jar around?
Yeah, on the far side of the like the window that you have for the where the cooks hand the food over. There's a tip jar back there that's both for her and for the cooks. It's thinned out a little bit. There's not a lot of people there, but there is some bills in the tip jar.
I'm gonna go and if I can do it without anybody noticing, preferably. And if I can't, then I'd probably, or Xander would probably wait to do it. But he's gonna drop the 5 that she gave him back into the jar for her.
Go ahead and this is the weirdest way I've ever used this before. Go ahead and give me a dexterity and larceny. Is it larceny or is it stealth? I think
it would be larceny. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a dexterity and larceny.
Does so my specialty is in petty theft. Does my experience in petty theft help in this case?
I would
the reverse theft.
Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to it's like a mastery of the subterfuge of it. You're trying to make something happen that you're trying to make someone look over here when you're actually over here. So yeah, I would say that petty theft would work for this.
Okay. What does the specialty do in the system again?
You get an additional dice.
Okay, additional dice. Oh, thank God.
Oh, nice.
I was so afraid I was gonna hit a 1 and just botch that, and she'd think I'm stealing tips.
I was so getting ready.
Break the vase. She's just like, what the hell are you doing?
He does the old, yawn as he walks by and drops the 5 in it with a thunk. And if I had any petty bills in my wallet, like $1 or whatever, just loose hanging around, that would go in there too. But
given what you do, it's probably you're probably paid with mainly loose change and bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to drop a couple more bucks in there. Probably like $10 or so.
Yeah.
Loose change.
And as a storyteller, I will note for you, he probably what he does and where he gets some of those ill-gotten gains, and obviously he's quite aware of people. It's a small town. People know he's kind of if he walked around dropping 20s and things like that, it'd be really super fishy. So he probably has all his money hidden in a shoebox under his mattress or some shit, and he only takes $10-15 out of time at max.
Yeah.
So if he had any of that spare, that's where that would come from. And he'd slip that into, and then head off toward the bathroom or whatever, cover story.
Yeah. Alice.
Hello.
You're able to watch that. You see him walk over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty easy to assume he just ripped them off. Whether you care, whether you don't care, that's up to you. He goes to the restroom and you're left alone with your thoughts for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Your plan is to go and deal with this thing. Or what exactly is her plan?
Oh man. Okay. So the Blackwell boy was spotted heading southeast out of Cedar Point, and they're looking for him at the mill. I think.
Is this information that your characters are calling, or is this out of game information you are asking me? Because
This
it can
is
be two different things.
this is Alice going over.
Give me a intelligence.
Mhm.
Let's just go solid intelligence.
Solid
A
intelligence.
solid intelligence flip.
All right, and that's 4 d10s.
Yeah, it's just 40-10.
Mhm.
You don't know why you thought that it was this way. Just so you know, you succeed.
Gotcha.
There's 2 boys missing.
Right.
And that detail, for some reason, just slipped your mind recently. The paper is only talking about the Blackwell boy, which went missing on the Crawfish Road.
Gotcha.
The mother had actually commented that there was a Blackwell boy that went missing a week ago, and this Davis boy disappearance is a completely unrelated situation.
Gotcha.
She had simply commented that they were happening around the same time, and it's really odd that 2 boys go missing in 2 weeks.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gosh, I can totally spell. Okay, so the Blackwell boy was seen headed southeast, and Davis went missing at the mill-ish.
They're
Or
searching
that's
for
where
him.
they're looking for him at the
Yes.
very least. I think she's trying to decide which way she wants to go. Because the Davis one has the excitement of being fresh and new. He's just gone missing. And it's a isolated-ish spot. With a radius that is predetermined by the mill itself. But downside, it's gonna have people there theoretically. Which means sneaking around. The Blackwell boy is interesting because they haven't found him yet. But she doesn't have a clear idea of like the radius in which to look. It's just a direction. I think she's a bit undecided. Since Xander's gone off to the bathroom, she's going to call Laura over. Is Laura still out here?
Yeah, like I said, she's working on cleaning the tables.
Gotcha. She lifts her she lifts her arm a little bit and waves a little bit at Laura, and she goes, "Laura, can I ask you a question or two?"
She kind of gives you a puzzled look before it's like, yeah, absolutely. What's on your mind?
I was wondering if you had actually heard anything more about what happened to Davis or the Blackwell boy. I'm just worried.
Well, I think there's a lot of us here in town who's worried about him. Well, I mean, Jonathan Blackwell went missing, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And they trolled the edges of the Crawfish River down by just past the marina, because that's where they thought that they saw him last. Nothing came up. They didn't find anything, or at least if they did, they didn't say anything. None of the police reports said they had a body, and you know how it goes here. If something did happen, Danielle would tell us almost immediately. She's a good sheriff, and she's always looking out for us. As for the Davis boy, what you heard's what I heard. This is news to me too. I just know that these two things happen back to back, and it's kind of fishy.
It is. It is fishy. Okay. Well, yeah.
We used to have a really strong community here.
Yeah.
And ever since, I don't know, ever since Pastor White died, things just seem to be so, I don't know. There seems to be a shadow, like something's missing from the town now. I don't know.
I'm typing and can spell. Alice would reach out but not quite touch Laura. So it's like she's making an attempt at a comforting gesture but isn't willing to go all the way through with it. And she is sort of nodding along as Laura talks, and she goes, "Yeah, who was Pastor White?"
So it's a name that you're familiar with. He was the only pastor who lived here. He was that is Wight, of course. Just like White. He was the only pastor who had worked here, and before he had moved to town, and you would probably vaguely know this because I'm sure that you probably were forced to be taken to church at least once by Angela.
Oh yeah.
Before him, there wasn't a church in town. He showed up. He opened his church, and for 40 something years, he ran this church, and then he passed away. I don't think that you probably know any of the details surrounding his death, or and if you wanted to look into those, you'd probably have to go check public records or the like, or talk to somebody who might know. But he recently died, probably in the past year or two. But because it's not so fresh in your memory, it's probably hard for you to remember when he did. You just know that he died somewhat recently.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so she makes that gesture, is sort of nodding along. And she goes, "Yeah, I didn't know him very well. But I can kind of see what you mean. Thank you for talking to me a little bit, Laura. I really appreciate it." And she sort of takes her hand away.
She kind of nods before she just goes back to work.
Alice was, in that case, Alice was definitely unwilling to admit that she didn't know something, especially if it could be considered embarrassing. How religious do people tend to be? I obviously White was respected at the very least.
Oh yeah, so it's a Christian town.
Right.
It's a Christian town. Probably. Actually, it was probably a Catholic. Catholicism is probably the big thing here, or some sect of it. So it's a fairly religious town, but most are more private practice. It's not as when Pastor White came and was doing his thing, he kind of had a monopoly on things. And then after he passed, I think everyone's just kind of waiting for a new pastor to come into town.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely in that case, she was unwilling to admit that this well respected, that she didn't know how this well respected figure in town died, especially considering the whole, like, Catholicism thing. And that she's not, like, she may be an English major, she may be taking a theology class, but she's, at this point, pretty agnostic. Um, so she'll be looking into that later, but she's definitely not willing to ask why or how he died.
Especially considering
Hmm.
the ratifications that means.
Yeah, exactly. So she sort of just sits back and eats her burger.
So it doesn't take you much time to finish the burger.
Oh yeah.
And I can imagine that whatever the boy was doing in the bathroom, he's probably done now. Or at least he went in there and he dicked around on his phone for a while and came back out.
Yeah, a little bit. So, while he's in the bathroom, he's actually gonna shoot a text, assuming he can get any kind of reception. He's gonna shoot it regardless, but whether or not it goes through, shot, 50-50, who knows? To, his junkie friend, right? He's like, sends him something along the lines of, "Hey man, you got my money?"
Give me one. Go ahead and give me actually a. This is gonna sound silly, but give me a manipulation intimidation roll.
Okay.
Because you're wording in a very specific way.
Leaving it a bit nebulous.
Yeah.
I can see this. Yeah. Okay, so 4.
The notification comes up. You send the message. Message becomes red.
So no go through?
No, so the message goes from unopened to red.
Oh, okay. I kind of. Yeah, we'll see about this. I kind of munder under breath a little bit. Go to the sink. Wash my hands. Wash my face. Look at kind of look at myself in the mirror for a second. Glance back to the bathroom stall. Get a slight little smile. I go back to the bathroom stall. I want to leave a message. He takes a Sharpie, right? And he he writes, "For a good time, call Alice." I'm assuming I have your number.
Probably, considering that, like, I assume you don't replace your phone literally
No,
ever.
absolutely not. No.
Alice probably does, pretty frequently, but I think everybody has that, like, attachment to their cell phone number, right? I don't think she's
She
any
keeps the
different.
same number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, from way back when they used to be friends, he probably still has her number.
For a good time, call Alice. And he signs it -XOXO. He grins to himself. That ought to teach her. He mumbles under her breath. Sometimes when somebody disses you, or when somebody's getting all uppity and whatnot, you gotta get back at him. And sometimes it's the simple, subtle things that matter most.
John,
He grins to himself. He turns and he leaves the bathroom. Do what?
Xander would have recovered 1 point of willpower if
Yeah.
you had one. Because wrath in the form of vengeance
Oh, fuck yeah.
is befitting to your vice.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If you had a willpower.
Yeah, fair enough.
Congratulations.
So, you leave the restroom. Um, you leave the restroom. Of course. I assume that's what you're doing after you leave the message.
Yeah.
And then you hear a vibration in your hip. You pick it up. You flip it open. And it's a response from Anthony Logan, your friend.
Okay.
Nah, used it on pizza. Can I owe you?
I send him back. Man, you've already IO'd me. I need it. Like, now. Tonight. I just, like, send it back to him. You know, not. I think before hitting send, you know, he thinks, man, maybe I ought to threaten to kick him in the face. You know, and he's like, no. I need it tonight. Need it for pizza. You know, and then he sends it. You know.
Almost immediately back. $20 will get pizza. $20 good?
So, this is more up to you, I suppose. How much does he owe me total?
Well, that depends on how well you can convince him that he owes you more. Do with that information as you will.
So, I message him. You already owed me 40, and you owed me an extra 20 from not paying me last week. $60 now, or I'm gonna double it. Seriously, bro, I need it now.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna persuasion convincing.
Persuasion convince. I think is it persuasion?
Well, yeah, but my specialty is convincing.
Yeah, it'll be manipulation persuasion with an additional one from convince.
Let me fuck this up. Oh, one success. Yeah.
Then we're even? Question mark.
Even Steven. As I said it, I'm like, that's fucking dumb. Why'd I say that?
Roger. Period. Lumberjacks? Question mark. Cursory knowledge. Lumberjack Fuel is the name of the gas station.
I sent him back. I'll buy you a Coke.
Which kind? Smiley face emoji. See you there. Period.
Look down. I'm like, ah, fuck. No, Cherry, you asshole. I sent it back and leave the bathroom.
So yeah. So now you know your junkie friend's gonna meet you at the gas station.
What did you say his name was?
Anthony Logan.
Okay, Anthony Logan. Okay, I wrote Andy. Anthony Logan. Got it.
Nice.
So you see Alice sees Xander step out of the bathroom, just fucking fighting with somebody on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Just
angry finger, or
heated,
angry like index finger tapping.
He's just.
He does the index finger tapping because he's, not good at the texting thing because he's got one of those old ass like
razor phone.
Yeah. Like his phone is literally a burner phone that drug dealers use, but he uses it as his main phone because
It's funny.
He's just tuck away.
I mean, what's Danielle gonna do? Throw you in jail for the night?
He just flops down in the fucking the bench and just typing away and not paying any attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
Asshole. He finally looks up after his typing. Yeah, about ready? You good?
Are you? Has
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Xander's eaten his burger.
Yeah, he goes right back to eating it. It's like half eaten in front of him, you know. He's like, he kind of looks down at it, and he's like, "Ah, shit." All right. So before we go, I need to stop at the gas station, meet my friend. I promised I'd buy him a Coke.
Right.
You know,
I mean, we have
he
to go there for, like that. I need a flashlight. You might have a flashlight, but I need a flashlight.
right. He kind of looks down at his burger. And he just tries to like eat it in as few bites as possible.
Jesus. Oh. Okay. So we have two ways we can go. There's two missing
Mhm.
boys. There's Davis, and then there's Jonathan Blackwell. Mhm.
He swallows. Oh, wait, two? I thought we were looking for just the one kid. What's his face? Kid
So
who got eaten by a bear.
neither of them have been found yet.
Well, if you got eaten by a bear, you probably wouldn't be found.
Well, here's the pros and cons. Davis, very recently went missing. They're looking for him at the mill. So the pros, exciting because it's new. Maybe we'll actually find something. Because it's the mill, we have like an actual area to look around, but there might be people there who will probably kick us out if we're caught. Or we could go for Jonathan Blackwell, who's been missing for about 5 days. They looked for him near the Crawfish River. He was heading southeast out of Cedar Point, I believe. But they haven't found anything, and I don't think that there's anyone looking for Jonathan Blackwell tonight.
Wow. My dad works at the mill, right?
Let me. Yes, your father works at the lumber mill, not the iron mill.
Okay.
The iron mill went out in 1901.
Right.
You would know it's where you go to make good like drug sales because nobody fucking goes out there. It's all the way out of town and there's no cops for the most part.
Well,
It's a ghost town.
Honestly, I've been to the mill a few times. It's it's a good party spot. You know, people go out there and hang out, and
Right.
well, we don't study, but you get the idea.
Right.
So I know that area a little better, I guess. If we're gonna go traipsing around in the dark, we might as well go somewhere we won't get lost, and then end up with people hunting for us.
Yeah.
Get eaten by bears.
So the mill.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless you got a better plan.
No. There's a reason I asked.
He takes another really big bite of the burger.
She, her nose wrinkles up.
I'm sorry. He starts using the fork to kind of like pull little pieces off.
She looks like she wants to say something. Her mouth opens, and then she closes it, and she shakes her head, and she just looks away as he finishes his burger.
He swallows it and then carefully like eats each individual pulled off bite, that he had separated out with the fork. He kind of gives a bit of a grin, satisfied, and making her look away and stop being snotty. All right. You sure you want to do this?
Yes. Yes, I am.
The woods isn't going to be too scary for you or anything. I'm not going to have to like hold your hand the whole time, am I?
She rolls her eyes and she says, I have lived here just as long as you have. The woods don't scare me.
The difference is I've spent my time in the woods and on the mill, and you've spent your time in college classes. reading about Jesus.
Not just about Jesus. And she stands up. She takes the book. She probably has a backpack, so she shoves it in the backpack, picks up her phone, tucks it in her pocket, and just looks down on him. You coming?
He's well, I will in a second. He's putting all the little dishes together and whatnot. As civilized people do, and more specifically, as civilized people do when their mom's the one who takes the dishes, and she'll probably beat the fuck out of you if you leave a mess. You get the idea that maybe that's happened once or twice. But yeah, he stacks all the dishes, gets them all neat and whatnot. He gets up, makes sure, kind of glances back to make sure, he paranoid, make sure his wallet didn't fall out on the bench or some shit,
Yeah.
Pats his pockets down. Well, I'm good to go. I'm gonna head to the. He thinks for a second. He's like, I guess we'd just go together, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go then.
All right. And I guess they exit Marmot's diner.
Marmot.
Marmot.
He
Vermin.
gives a little, backhand wave to, his mom and sis as he leaves, if they're paying attention,
They respond. They give you a quick wave back before they step over. You see her mom kind of look at the stacked plates, and then she just gives you a look. Like, it's one of those. You wouldn't say it's like she's proud of you look, but it's a thanking look. You go outside, and I'm assuming that Alice has a vehicle.
Oh, probably. I mean, she has drive too.
She does have drive too, which means that she does a lot. She does quite a bit of driving, and she also has access to a meager disposable income from what trifles in from her dad, and
Right.
also her dad owns that. So it's
Yeah.
it's worth noting that she probably has like a better beat up old shit box. So probably the equivalent of like my or your car, honestly.
Right.
There's just like a look that crosses his face, and he's just like, doesn't your dad buy you a better car or something?
I mean,
aren't you supposed to be really rich?
just get in the car. She unlocks it.
Yeah, he goes and he steps in.
Mm-hmm.
He's at his quota of messing with her for the time being. He seems satisfied.
She starts up the car and is heading off towards the lumberjack fuel.
So lumberjack fuel actually is, ironically, on the corner of the lumberjack the sawmill. It's right out of town, not too far, but it is on the way. So you're able to get there, and you are met by a pair of cop cars that are parked there.
Oh God.
Their lights are off. They're kind of like, yeah, they're filling up on gas. The one sitting outside of the cup of coffee, he's eating a donut. And the other one, you would recognize the one. Sorry, immediately Xander would recognize the one as Lieutenant Blake Logan. That's Anthony's dad. He's here, and Anthony's here. And Anthony's just kind of sitting around. He's kind of chit-chatting with his dad. And they're just kind of having a conversation. He's eating a donut. The other cop car, you see the doors open, and a black-haired woman who has this huge bun. I'm talking like huge bun. She's a darker-skinned woman. Is calling in and basically calling off or she's talking. Whether you guys want to like tune in and listen to them, that's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But they are stopped at the gas station. There is a pump open if you need to fill up on gas. Because it is a little bit of a drive out to the iron mill from here.
Yeah, might as well. Alice is going to pick the pump closest to the cop that's talking into like her phone or whatever. Oh, because absolutely yes, she's going to eavesdrop. Yeah, so she pulls up, puts the car in park. I'm going to get some gas and then go inside for flashlights and stuff. Try not to get arrested before we even get there.
Whoa,
out of
whoa,
the
whoa!
car.
He just holds up his hands all defensively. Whoa, 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 whoa! Who do you think you're talking to?
I think I'm talking to Xander Owens, the guy who sells weed to literally everybody.
That is not true. Not literally everybody. He just kind of holds out a finger, like accusatorially, and just opens his mouth like he's gonna say something, but can't think of anything super clever, so he just gets out of the car. Not everybody.
She
And
follows suit, gets out of the car.
as they're getting out, he kind of tries to lock eyes with her, and he's just like, and shut about that, just makes like a shut up gesture.
It's also worth noting this is 2011, so people weren't as cool about weed back then.
She's a snobby rich kid. Of course she loves weed.
The
She just won't admit it. She just won't admit it.
It's funny.
I'm gonna mark the price up so high. He mutters under his breath something. He goes, he walks directly up to the officer, partly to spite her. And he's just like, hey, Mr. Logan, how you doing?
Xander, nah, I'm doing all right. Arms hurt.
It was a long day.
Yeah, we're looking for that Davis kid. I don't know. Fuck. Do you even care? Probably not.
Yeah.
What are you doing out here? Isn't it like past your? No, you don't have a bedtime.
Nope. Since I was 6. Nah.
Kelly, what time is curfew? Kelly just you see Kelly like lean out of the car, and she just gives Logan this look like, are you fucking retarded? I can't even find a better way to describe the look. Like it's just, are you serious? Are you? Logan kind of like smiles, looks back. Well, looks like you're not out past curfew, so at least you've got that going for you.
Xander kind of like makes a tiny bit of a show of kind of like looking over at her, and he kind of looks back and he's like, new partner? Logan, nice.
So Logan kind of like crosses arms and he kind of like leans in towards you, and he kind of mutters under his breath, "Yeah, she's some hard ass from the city." Yeah, you know what happened with Sheriff Fur. He with the girl, that big scandal that happened.
He nods the side of it, yeah.
So they had to get rid of him, obviously, because you can't just let that happen in a small town like this, especially where everyone talks. So they sent her out here, and man, she's such a pain in the ass. It's like every day I put on my uniform, it's like, well, am I gonna grab my left or my right ankle for you today, miss?
There's a small grin that's steadily growing on Xander's face.
You get this look. Kelly has her hand in her cheek, and she's just looking at the back of Logan's head. The problem about Logan, the problem about Lieutenant Logan is he tries to be like a suave, quiet, soft-spoken cop. He's loud. He's very loud. And he was not being quiet.
Like the smirk kind of grows more. It looks like he's about to say something, lewd, just kind of continue the joke, and he just kind of happens to trail his eyes over to see the look she's casting in their direction. He's like, I get what you mean. Yeah, she looks like something. He kind of can't help but laughing just a tiny bit. Um, yeah, I best mm. So about the
So
Davis boy, right?
Anthony actually kind of like jumps in for a second. Hey, before I don't mean to interrupt or whatever. I know you guys want to chat, but did you guys see the donuts in there? Like those packages that I got, they can like fit like 4 of those donuts in it. Like that's a weird size for a donut, isn't it? John,
Yeah.
give me a let's see here. What would be give me a streetwise composure. Or sorry, let's give me a wits streetwise flip.
Yeet.
That's where he hid the money. Like
On my head.
he hid the money in the packaging for the donuts.
No, I guess I hadn't noticed. They look pretty good though, and maybe I'll get myself one.
Blake kind of gives Anthony this look like, what are you talking about? He kind of points inside. He's like, look, they fit 6. Well, no, like the bigger ones, like the filled ones, they still fit 6. They're the same size. Well, no, but like like the bigger, like the double size ones, like sometimes when they cook together and they get stuck, you get that Blake and Anthony are gonna kind of like.
I shoot him a glare, thinking, I swear to God, if you stuff the money inside one of those jelly donuts, I'm going to like wring your neck. And I shoot him a bit of a glare, and then yeah, I'll be right back. I need to gonna go grab a drink. You want something? I kind of look to my buddy there.
Oh, Coke.
Fair enough. All right, I'll be right back. Head in to go retrieve my gains, my ill-gotten gains.
You of course go to what is while that's going down, that entire transaction. What is Alice doing?
Alice is filling up her car. But while she's sort of doing that, is when Kelly isn't like addressing Anthony's dad, she's still like talking on like the radio or the phone or whatever.
Yeah, she kind of took a pause for that. She's actually compiling reports from the searching parties. Though the information that you can get is kind of hard. You're gonna need to go ahead and give me a wits investigation. I feel like that's still the closest for what we're looking for here.
So that's 5d10. Okay. Hey.
You hear every word.
Oh hell yeah.
So there were signs of somebody being in the old mine. Except as they were going down, they couldn't find a way to get where the signs of movement were. They're calling off the search for the night as it's getting dark, and they don't have the means to have like all that lights out there during the night. And they're hoping that they can just begin the search again in the morning, when perhaps the light will be a little bit easier, and they can call in a little bit more help. However, one of the police officers hasn't reported back in yet, and that's actually what Sheriff Kelly is looking into like at the moment. Is she's trying to find out who saw that officer last.
Okay. Do I hear a name of the officer that's gone missing?
Yeah, you hear Officer Blackwell.
Mm. Okay, interesting. Alice sort of files that off. Finishes, loading up her car. She gives Anthony's dad like a friendly wave, cause it doesn't look good when you ignore cops, right?
Mhm.
So
Go ahead and give me another wits. Give me another wits investigation.
okay. Jesus.
Jesus Christ! I'm glad you're getting these all the way now. So you look down to your car. You're fiddling with something, but you're still eavesdropping.
Mhm.
It's what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you hear Lieutenant Logan actually lean down to Anthony. He's like, "How come you can't get a girlfriend like that? like she's just a bookworm. You could land yourself something like that." And he's like, "Dad, no, she's no." Dad. He's like, "Come on, I got your mom." And then he's like, "No, Dad, you paid my mom."
Oh my god. She she does her best.
Give me
Not forget that.
a solid composure flip.
A solid composure. Oh god, that's just 3. Okay.
You were able to contain yourself from busting up laughing.
Okay, great.
Because obviously,
Mhm.
you were expecting that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you get fueled up. You've still got a little bit of a little bit of time.
Mhm.
Xander goes inside. He checks the thing. Sure enough, and there in just a little Tupperware, not a Tupperware. What are they called? Like a Ziploc baggie. You get the $60. It's all in smaller bills. There's some coins.
It's kind of frown at the coins, but hey, money's money,
Yep, money's money.
Oh.
So you're able to cash in your $60 from them.
Yeah. I'll take the dollary dues. Grab a box, that it was in, and pick. Like I imagine they have like the donuts on like a fucking like fucking donut shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, donuts, half of them are gone, and they're probably almost all stale because they make these shit in the morning, or
Yep. I'm pretty
warm
picked
'em up,
through.
rather. But I'll gather the few that I can because she said she wanted some snacks, so um, get that. I'll go get the Coke. Maybe grab a flashlight. Grumble a little under my breath about the price of the flashlight, and
Go ahead and give me a. Go ahead and give me a. Go ahead and give me an investigation as well. A wits investigation.
aw.
I mean, you're able to find a flashlight. No problem. You're able to find a flashlight. You're able to find but nothing else really sticks out that might be interesting or useful to you.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of look over the overpriced random crap they have. No, I don't want that. Maybe grab a bag of chips or something. I'll go get the cherry Coke. I'll grab like a Mountain Dew and I don't know, just a bottle of water. uh,
Spending your fucking $60 at the gas station right as soon as you get it.
Hell, I mean, where else am I gonna spend it? Buying mushroom burgers? But yeah, and then I'll go and I'll have the brief thought, wondering if I should pay for the gas, but nah, she's rich, she can handle it. I'll pay for the junk food and shit.
So, you step it up. She gives you the she gets goes to pay you. Is there anything else you'd like to interact with the with either the woman who's working at the register or the actual the lumberjack fuel itself? Is there any other way that you wanted to interact with this?
Particularly, he would just kind of pay up, get the receipt, shove the change and whatnot in his pocket, take the bag, head out to the car. He'd stop, hand the Coke to his homeboy there, and give him a bit of a nod. Are they still like mumbling to themselves or chatting or anything?
They've kind of stopped. The father had Blake had stepped back into his cruiser and he was waiting for you to get back out. Anthony takes a drink. He gives you a quick thing. He's like, "Well, I'll see you around if you're around later. Yeah, if you want to play some Xbox or something, we'll." Anyway, I gotta go. Dad wants to go, so I'm
Yeah, man, I'll see you. I'll see you in a bit. We could probably hang out tomorrow or something. I got a thing I got to do later.
Yeah.
I kind of nod back toward the car.
Nice.
I just give him a grin and a wink.
He just leans over. He just knuckles you. Nice.
I just kind of nod. It's all right.
And then he gets in the police cruiser.
I'll just kind of grin to myself as I head back to the car.
Alice is probably just like wrapping up. She probably starts like heading towards the inside, presuming that he hadn't gotten her like the flashlight and stuff. So
He had.
Right, but she so she walks a little bit past the car, sees the flashlights in your hand, and goes, "Oh, okay."
Give her a bit of a look. You're welcome. I hand it to her.
She takes it. Thank you.
Go ahead and on your character sheet,
Mhm.
go ahead and write down flashlight 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And give me 1 second.
So, how much did you say that all costs? Like $15 or so for the
Yeah.
donuts, chips, drinks, and a flashlight?
So, it's a gas station, so let's get.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, just so I can have a rough estimate of the dollary dues.
Yeah.
Because, some of us have to work for a living, and I'm not rich. So I don't have a rich daddy.
Well, maybe you should get one.
Borrow yours.
Gross.
But yeah, he'll just kind of slump back into the car.
Sorry for any weird noises. I'm feeding my cat. Yep.
All right. So let me look one thing up real quick, and then we'll be good to go.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick as soon as I'm done giving my cat some water. I'll be real fast.
Okay.
And why she's going? Well, yeah, no, good. I was gonna say we could drive to my house so I could pick up the flashlight that I'm pretty certain is there. A few other just random things from the house, but she's the driver, so you know. I wanted I wanted Xander to be able to ask about the guy again and talk the officer, but Xander doesn't. He's just like he doesn't. He spaced it out. He had donuts and very angry, cute officers distract him from asking about possibly pertinent information about the kid they're looking for.
Sorry, I was reading a rule. Repeat that.
No, I said I was going to have Xander ask the officer about the kid and whatnot, but he was distracted by donuts and the cute, hard-ass, angry officer. So he had other things on his mind.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, I'm back.
Come back. So Xander kind of looks her up and down. Before we head out, can we actually stop at my place so I could grab my flashlight?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it's not too far, you know.
I mean, you're still living in the same place, I assume.
Yeah,
Unless...
well, you just kind of, I guess.
I mean, unless you moved out.
Yeah, right. Like, nah, not yet.
Okay. Then I know the way. She'll start up the car and head towards Xander's house.
So you um you head to Xander's house.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, nobody's home. Door's locked. He's got a key. Xander, what exactly are you here looking for?
Need go in, grab the flashlight. He'd grab a few more snacks. Nothing like he's not raiding the pantry or anything, but like if they have like a bag of chips or, you know, maybe a few like a beer from the fridge or something. Just a few random extra things for provisions. You know, he's putting it into like a backpack because, you know, he's not gonna carry it. It's the one he used to school. You know, it's covered in just fucking doodles and shit that he did when he was supposed to be paying attention in class.
Give me a you feel something like you feel like a nagging sensation. You get this like you're forgetting something. Go ahead and flip me a intelligence flip.
Just straight intelligence?
Yep, just straight intelligence.
Okay. Ooh. Got some decent rolls tonight.
You are forgetting something.
Okay.
You think you hid something from your dad, but you can't remember what it was. Go ahead and give me another intelligence, but go ahead and add your investigation to it this time as you search, your secret stash. You know, like where you got like you know where you've been hiding your stuff that you want to keep for yourself. Go ahead and give me a flip. There we go.
Got a 6.
So you go to your closet. You push up the panel because I imagine you guys are in kind of like not exactly like a trailer park, but something like it, with those loose panels. And as you push it over, you reach up and there's a box. When you pull the box down, it's your dad's old bird hunting shotgun.
Oh,
Now,
damn.
since you got a hold of it, you made a little minor alterations. You cut the stock off like an idiot all the way. So this
Gotta make it look cooler.
yeah, you cut the chunk, but then you also chopped off the barrel too, because you wanted to be able to carry it on you if you were making a deal and it went south.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give yourself. Let me see if I can find the gun damage thing. It's under weapons. Weapon chart. There is a shotgun. All right, so yeah, so shotgun is on page 169.
Okay.
Even with it being like one also the clip is different than that. The clip is 2.
Okay. Double barrel.
Yeah, it's an over and under.
Okay.
Even with it being actually no, go ahead and drop the strength requirement on it to 2, and the clip down to 2.
Okay.
But then otherwise it's just as a shotgun appears there on 169.
Okay.
You also are able to pull out the small box of shells that has 12 other shells.
14 total?
No.
Or no, I wouldn't store it loaded. I'm not that retarded. I have 1 point in fire. I know not to keep it loaded.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Alice has no points in firearms.
All my skills are geared towards
Would you think-
investigating things and then running away from them.
Yeah, I'd put the absolutely mangled shotgun into my backpack. I'm sure at this point the shotgun would also be, similar to the backpack and just have all sorts of dumbass doodles and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe fucking
Identifying
song
marks on
lyrics and
Yeah.
shit all over what's left of the barrel.
Identifying marks all over it like a moron.
And like the barrel, I just like in Sharpie is just like XOX. But yeah, no, I put it in the backpack. I put the shells in there, along with like I don't know, the fucking 2 pudding cups and half bag of beef jerky or whatever it is I took from the kitchen. I'll kind of look around. Got my flashlight. I got the shotgun. Got a little bit of extra stuff. I'm not really expecting to be out there too long. Not really wanting to carry more than I already am.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll check the flashlight to see if it's low on battery or whatever. Because who fucking knows the last time I used the damn thing.
It's slowish, but you don't know that you have any more batteries in the house. And if you did, you probably should have grabbed them when you're out. You're kind of biting yourself in the ass for it.
Yeah.
It probably has about 4 hours of light on it.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, it should be fine. No. She'll probably. I'm kind of thinking, like, yeah, we're not gonna be out there all night. She'll probably want to go home after like a fucking hour anyway. I'll just put it on. He'll put it on his back and head out.
My cat's trying to eat a spider.
Okay, so he comes back outside with his case.
Mhm.
He's got that. I'm assuming he's gonna. He's gonna get in the car. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Do you have any commentary for him, or comments, concerns? Are you gonna say anything to him, really?
I don't think there's super anything that she's going to say to him. She probably thought about making some sort of rude comment about how, he's still living with his parents, but theoretically, she is moved only into a dorm, and so she figures that's just gonna bite her in the ass. So she'll just start the car once he's all buckled up and start towards the old mill.
He doesn't buckle up when he gets in the car.
Let me just go ahead.
That's ominous.
Jesus. Spooky.
So describe it's quite a bit of a drive there, and it's I assume it's getting close to midnight at this point. I would say it's about 11:30, 11:35. It's getting pretty dark out. And the road is basically a straight gravel dirt road. It's been eroded over time, or it was eroded at some time. It's a little overgrown in some places now, but nothing their car can't handle. Describe to me how she drives. Like, does she turn on it, or does she turn on her music? Does she?
Yeah, I mean, she probably has just some general music going on. I don't think she wants to spend like the extra what small extra gas it would take to be running the air conditioner. So she probably has the windows down, headlights on. I don't think her music's like loud. It's definitely like pop or something like equally popular. Um, just some like top hits radio station, or I mean, they probably have a local radio station, right?
Yeah.
You know what? She'll have that on.
It is the the local the local station's called Cedar FM. There's the talk show host is a guy named Giles Walter. A lot of the times he just kind of talks about like he's a humanitarian, and he's always talking about like the good of people and what makes good folks, and but he's always taken kind of like a secular stance about it. Like he's like he never exactly says it. He doesn't have faith or he doesn't believe in faith, but he's always kind of talked about the good of people for the sake of being good people rather than for anything beyond this mortal shell or anything like that, if you get where I'm coming from there.
Yeah.
Right now he's overnights. When he starts taking over around 10 and he's doing it overnights, normally what he starts off by he starts talking about a concept, and the concept he's talking about today is it's about like eclipses. He's talking about like the science behind them, and how there's this big fear of the 2012 calendar, and all that could be told by like all these calendars, and he's taking calls from different townsfolk, and they're giving their opinions on it, and for the most part, there's some left and right opinions on it. There's some things you agree with, there's some things you don't agree with, but all of that comes to a halt when you hear this sharp, like buzzing noise, You feel static in the air. Alice feels static in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Your vision begins to tunnel just a little bit. The edges of your vision going white. You feel like you're being drawn out of your body for a moment
Mm-hmm.
before the sensation's gone. Roll me a driving. It is dexterity driving.
Dex driving. Okay. 1, 2, 5. Okay. Okay, great.
You see it in the last possible moment. It was a boy standing in the road just past the bend on Leech over Leech Pond. Sorry, not Leech Pond. What was the other one? It was a Walnut Pond.
Mhm.
If you're looking at the map, directly to the right of the Davis boy text, there's a little pond. That's Walnut Pond.
Gotcha.
Or Walnut Lake. Let's go with Walnut Lake. That sounds.
So that little bend there where
Yes.
I pinged. Great.
As you turn it, there was a child standing in the middle of the road, a boy.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to swerve out in the last moment, but in doing so, you fling your car not to the side, but you slide out. You almost lose control of it, but you manage to stay on the road. You get the feeling, you get this overwhelming sensation that could have ended a lot worse.
Yeah.
Your lights go out.
Oh.
Your car dies. You're in the middle of the road.
So did I see the child or feel the static and whatnot as well?
Nothing.
Okay. So me, she's.
Go ahead and give me one presence roll, just a single, or go ahead and give me give me a resolve plus stamina, because this is a long drive, and the guy talking is boring. And I want to see if you stayed awake. Yeah, you stayed awake. So
I did it.
Go ahead and give me a roll with your let's go. What's investigation? That's a good one for this one.
This luck though, what the fuck?
You did.
3 successes.
You saw it. You saw a child standing in the middle of the road.
So I'm just Xander's just kind of tapping his fingers on the dashboard or whatever. As the guy's droning on, he's obviously not fucking listening to whatever shit you've got on the radio. He's kind of like just tapping to his own beat, or like, humming, like trying to work something out in his head. Maybe he's working on a song, or maybe he's just got a rhythm stuck in his head. Who knows? But he kind of glances up as you just kind of like jerk. He's like, whoa, what the fuck? It's kind of freaks out as you swerve and come to a stop. He just kind of assumes, I guess, in the moment that you stopped intentionally, and he starts actually like looking back. He can't. Does he see anything particular?
No, there's nothing in the road.
Okay. He'd probably assume that like he didn't think they hit the kid, but maybe like the kid ran off or into the woods or something. So he's like opening his door to like, he's like opening his door to like get out,
Okay.
Yeah.
You open the door to get out.
Hey! Where's the kid? Is he? He's kind of looking around. He takes a few steps down the road, but yeah.
Alice is like a little shell shocked. That was a lot all at once. So he, when Xander is whipping around to look back at the road, her hands are still gripping the wheel.
You can see slowly, almost like a pulse down your arm, your hair standing on end and then laying flat. Standing on end and then laying flat.
She takes her hands off the wheel very suddenly, shakes her arms, and then also gets out of the car, and is like tapping the flashlight on her hand, and trying to turn it on.
It takes a moment to turn on, and then it does. You shine it down the road that you came up,
Mhm.
or that you came down rather,
Right.
and you see nothing but your tracks, and then off. You see nothing but your tracks, and then of course the car behind you.
The car behind us?
Yeah, your car.
Oh, okay, great. um, okay. She takes a moment to try and like just take a breath in, take a breath out to like try and chill. She like runs her hand through her hair and she looks at Xander and she goes, "What just happened? I'm not
No, there was a kid. Like you almost hit a kid.
right."
He's
Okay.
out of the car at this point. He's kind of taken a few steps away, but he's like looking on to the left and to the right, like trying to figure out where the kid went. You know, how far away did we stop from where like did we continue on before we actually like parked or came to a stop?
So after you swerved to your stop,
Hmm.
you probably slid. I would say 10, 20 feet.
Okay.
And that was all of her resting with resting control back of the vehicle, and getting it back uh, under control from
Yeah.
nearly plowing into this kid.
Mm.
Okay. So he'd walk a few more steps to roughly around where the kid was, and he'd look to the left and he'd like look to the right, and he'd be like, hey kid, are you okay? He'd raise his voice and just kind of to call out to someone. He doesn't really know where to start, but he's just kind of looking around.
Would you like to give me uh, a wits investigation again? This is a popular role. You're gonna be rolling this a lot. You're looking for stuff. Might as well get a magnifying glass.
Wits and perception, yeah, that definitely is a theme for tonight. um 3. Jesus. So we're dumb high rolls for no reason.
You walk over to where you think that you saw the kid. You flash your you, I I must have missed the detail. You have your flashlight out, right? The one that you brought with you.
How dark is it at this point in this area?
Pitch black.
Yeah, in that case, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be on. Or he'd
Uh,
have taken it out by now and like turned it on.
um, you turn it on. You step over to where you thought the kid was. Um, and then when you get closer, you start hearing this crackling noise. The best way for me to describe it is, it's almost like the sound of pop rocks. This like the sound of like
Like
gravel rolling
uh,
down a hill. And as you approach where you thought the kid stood, and you lower your light, you see you see what you originally identify as water, but it's not. It's something else. When you shine your light at it, it doesn't reflect. It it sizzles.
fuck is this? Kind of glances like uneasily over to over to her. Uh,
um,
are you seeing this?
when he turns to her, she has opened up the car door and has tried to turn the car back on.
Give me a just give me just go ahead and give me a fuck. I don't think Dex is the right one here.
Mhm.
Let's go with a composure and drive.
Okay.
Keeping yourself calm to not make to not like overdo it.
Right.
You hear the engine goes over,
Mhm.
and it goes over before it finally turns on. Your
Sweet.
lights turn night to day as it washes over over Xander. The pool below you burns away. The best way I can describe it is it burns, except for there's no light. It burns away but the opposite, the other direction. And then beyond it, you see something in the woods burning away. You hear a howl. You see something move through the woods deeper into it.
Kid,
What the
get her.
fuck?
If you're out there, get over here.
Then you realize it couldn't be that kid. Because why would that kid be making the trees move?
Oh shit.
He shines the light in the direction of the shifting trees.
You hear sizzling.
He just kind of takes a step back and looks over to fuck. Do we should probably get out of here. I don't see the kid anywhere. It's
Okay.
either that like he's
I
like
I assume I am seeing the trees moving and at least hearing the screeches that were caused.
Everything that is going on, you are witnessing.
Cool, great. Yeah, she's
Your hair on your arms has not let up.
uh
You're still goose fleshed.
yeah. She like full body shivers and uh nods very rapidly and is like, "Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's get the fuck out of here." Um and she is like yanking her driver door open and going to hop in.
yeah, he quickly goes back to the car. He glances over his shoulder. He takes like one kind of like last like shining the flashlight on either side of the road, like just searching for the kid, trying to avoid like looking at whatever the fuck that thing is out there.
Uh, give me a resolve investigation. Give me a composure investigation, not resolve. Oh wait, no. Resolve is the right one. It's resolve. Go ahead and resolve investigation.
Okay. Jesus.
You see something move.
Is
You
it?
see something moving along the side of your light. You see eyes peering back at you, but they're not like eyes you've seen before. It's not on a head you've seen before, or a neck, or a body. Nothing about this thing is what you've seen before. Its proportions aren't right. It almost looks like some middle schoolers drawing it, all black ink with a sharpie, but proportions are wrong. Its ribs are too thin for its body. Its spine is too long. Its legs, there are too many joints, too many fingers. Its mouth is, well, just like everything else. It's wrong. It shies away from your light and disappears into the darkness of the side of the forest. As your friend buries the pedal into the steel of her car, and you begin back towards town.
What
This will
the fuck?
conclude this will conclude the pilot episode of Shadows over Cedar Point. Are there any closing statements you would like your characters to have on the scene?
Few. Like, it would probably be a little while before Xander said anything. Like, he just kind of, like, be sitting in the passengers. No seatbelt again, but this time not just because he's just gonna, like, flimp it and doesn't really care too much, but because, like, obviously he's not gonna put his fucking seatbelt on. Like, are you kidding me? But he like holds the flashlight kind of like just close to his chest, and he's just kind of like looking down at it. He's turned it off, but like he's like looking down at it, like just trying to like process what happened. He's just, what the fuck was that shit? He like almost sticks his head out of the window as he kind of like comes a little bit more to his senses, just looking behind him for any sign of that.
Alice is full, like, pedal to the metal, um, gripping the wheel with one hand, rubbing her arm with the other, and switching back and forth until the goosebumps leave. Indefinitely, also muttering, "What the fuck?" I don't think at this point she has the frame of mind to frame a question more eloquently than that.
It doesn't take you long to get back home. You split up for the night. It's a little after midnight. And you go to your respective homes. When you lay down, it's hard for you to sleep. It's even harder for you to turn the lights off. You never thought that you'd sleep with a nightlight. But now you might be second guessing. What tomorrow holds is, well, nebulous at the best. You don't know where the Davis boy is, or the Blackwell boy, or even the father of the Blackwell boy. But now you have some idea of what might have happened to them. And you know it's still out there. Scene end. So, there you go. That was our first pilot episode.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to play tonight. we were supposed to get everything set up and we're gonna play tomorrow. But then I got hype beasted. And then me getting hype beasted other people. And we just made it happen.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That was great.
indeed. That was pretty great.
So, let me go ahead and before we close up,
Mhm.
I'm going to add some more plot details to the final scene.
Mhm.
So Xander does not buckle, gets in the car. Alice drives towards the iron mill. Strange sensation washes over Alice. She feels somewhat out of body. Her hair, she gets goose flesh on her arms. Swerves as a child appears in the middle of the road at the turn at Walnut Creek or Walnut Lake.
Yeah.
Car dies immediately after. Xander gets out to investigate, finds the shadowy liquid.
Sizzles when contacted by light.
Alex turns back on card.
Mm-hmm.
Loud sizzling is heard. Beyond Xander, trees move around the woods. Too big for a human. Xander and Alice re-enter car. Leave. Xander looks back. Xander looks back and sees something he can't describe.
Whew.
Think that's about all the big important details?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
On your guys' character sheets, go ahead and drop 1 hour on both of your flashlights.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
it is 4:30.
Yeah.
We will be beginning this campaign again very soon. And for the people who are listening through the recording, they'll probably be getting just the next one right after this. So we will see you guys next time here at Shadows of Cedar Point.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.